Gear for Music. The online retailer hit me up a while back and they asked if I wanted to check out, one of their house brand guitars, the G4M brand. You can see the sticker right there, upside down. And of course I said yes, because those sorts of arrangements are how I get my hands on instruments to film and show you, the audience, so you can make decisions on your own whether or not you're interested enough in any of this stuff to buy it for yourself. So anyways, of course I said yes, and of course I requested their baritone guitar. They have a fun looking offsetty baritone with humbuckers and a hardtail. No wiggle stick on this one, but who knows, maybe we can change that in the future. If I like it, we'll see. So anyways, let's crack this thing open and see what it's like. There we go. Looks like I got the color I requested. I wanted the white one versus the sunburst, although I checked the prices just before hitting record, and it looks like the sunburst one is for sale right now under $200, where this one was like $217, I think. Oh, interesting. Here we go. We've got a maple fretboard with black block inlays, black binding, a matte finish neck with a reverse headstock. This is going to be like a metal baritone. There we go. Don't pull the bag off, just rip it, right? Interesting. It's offset, but they've got their own body shape going on there, don't they? That is interesting. Got kind of an Ibanez-y sort of neck heel there, nice and round, a comfort heel. 2 humbuckers, 2 pneumatic, I'm assuming volume and tone. What else could they possibly be? 3-way switch, black 3-ply pick guard. Like I said, reverse headstock. Are we sure this is a baritone? Those strings seem bigger than baritone to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm a lover of baritones. I'm also a lover of bass sixes, and this is giving me bass 6 vibes right off the bat. So maybe Gear for Music is wrong in what they have this listed as. They're calling it a baritone. My gut is telling me this is a bass 6 right off the bat, but let me tune it up and we'll see. If it's tuned to E, it's a bass 6. If it's tuned to B, that's how you know it's a baritone, right? It tuned up to E standard just fine. Like, that's where it wants to be. And I have a very hard time believing that these strings could be tuned all the way up to B. So I'm going to say not a baritone. This is a bass 6, but I did grab my tape measure so that I can measure the scale length. I vaguely remember it being 30 inches. It feels like it's going to be 30 inches. Baritones can be 27.5 all the way up to 30 inches. And who knows, maybe you have a baritone that's 32 inches. I don't know, but I want to confirm this just to be sure. Yeah, 30-inch scale on this. It's got bass 6 strings. It's a bass 6. Could it be converted into a baritone? I'm sure it's possible. I had that Gretsch Electromatic baritone that was 30-inch scale. So as long as the strings get along with the scale length and you can intonate it, this could potentially be a baritone with modification, but no, out of the box, it's a bass 6. And there's nothing wrong with that. People should know it's a bass 6. So if they want a cheap bass 6, a $200 bass 6, are you kidding me? Someone out there wants that, and they should know that this is not a baritone out of the box. It's a bass 6. All right. So anyways, let's get into it. I got to hear it a little bit as I was tuning it. The tuners feel mostly fine. I got a little bit of sticking and jumping on the B string tuner, which really isn't a big surprise or shock for a $200 guitar, right? Especially one that is holding the weight of a bass 6 B string. You know, any of those tuners could have stuck and jumped and felt cheap because it's a cheap guitar with heavy strings. but it did come up to tune just fine. There was no fight, there was no battle there, but let's see how it plays. I'm gonna play it for a little bit and then I'll start talking about it. Get some rattling on that low E, a little bit on the low A as well. I'm using a pick, which isn't unusual to do with a bass 6. It's kind of not a bass, kind of not a guitar. Do whatever you want, there's no rules. So first impressions are interesting. They're a little mixed. I'd say that it plays pretty dang decent for being a $200 guitar. Frets are nice and comfortable. The action is low. It could be a little bit higher maybe to adjust around that buzzing and rattling I'm getting on the low E and the low A. But a common issue with bass 6s is that they will come with strings that are not quite heavy enough. You need to go a little bit heavier to get the stability you need from that low E, and in this case, the low A as well. So this one might just need some strings that go a little bit fatter. It looks like the nut will need to be opened up a little bit to accommodate that. If you're going to go that direction, the strings are already sitting a little bit on top of the nut, and they could come down a little bit as they are anyways. I mean, who knows? You throw a set of baritone strings on here, it might be totally fine. And then it'll be a baritone, right? But all the other bass 6s that I've played around with had single coils. I'm not used to the sound of a bass 6 humbucker equipped guitar yet. I want to try this out with some distortion and some fuzz, obviously in a bit. But yeah, I'm thinking that the best way to adjust around that buzzing is probably going to be a heavier set of strings. If the buzz doesn't matter to you or doesn't bother you, then, you know, whatever, fine. Do whatever you want. It's your guitar. Could probably get around it with some lighter playing as well. I tend to be pretty ham-fisted. I don't know, I might be wrong on that. It's still buzzing out, even with a very light touch. This isn't a guitar that looks like it wants a light touch. I'll say that. Comes and goes, and I have a feeling if you're gonna run this thing dirty, use those humbuckers to slam some distortion, I have a feeling that buzz and that rattle's not really gonna be a big issue. But we'll see, right? Let's try it with the Keeley Octosi Fuzz. It likes the fuzz, but everything likes fuzz, right? I've got the Wampler Bell on the board for some light overdrive. I will say it does play nice. Like, it feels good in the hand. I think the rattling of the strings is really the only issue that I'm running across so far. Which is impressive and notable for a $200 guitar that is doing something different than your standard run-of-the-mill $200 guitar. Let's move on to distortion. Even though we did fuzz, I've got the JHS hard drive on the floor. Let's see what these humbuckers and these heavy strings do with the hard drive. There we go. I think that's what it wants. get used to it. That happens, you know? Feeling more sure of myself as I'm playing it. Let's try doing some like spaghetti western, surfy type stuff with the Source Audio True Spring. I am missing the twang of a single coil from this. I'm used to having that single coil sort of like quack and bark when I'm doing the low strung bass 6, even baritone sorts of stuff. But lots of people love humbuckers, right? It's probably the most successful pickup design that's ever been conceived. So of course, there's gotta be a bass 6 out there for all the humbucker lovers, right? Neck pickup. Gotta say, even with that quick little tune check just now, I've been playing for 40 minutes and that was the first tune I had to give it. Since tuning it up, it seems pretty dang tuning stable. I mean, it doesn't have a wiggle stick. So, you know, how tuning and stable could it be? But, you know, not bad for putting tension on it for the first time. wants to be deep and heavy. It wants to be dark and dirty and moody. Maybe even a little bit jazzy. Let's try rolling back the tone on the neck pickup and pulling back the volume a little bit. Yeah, I think it wants to be a little jazzy. This is not a bright spaghetti western twanging bass six. It's for someone who gets into darker, deeper moods. Oh, I spoke too soon. We're going out of tune. I'll say there's plenty of potential here to have a good time. For $200, I'm impressed. The build quality seems to be more than acceptable. Better than decent for $200. Yeah, one of the tuners was a little sticky. I run into that all the time with guitars $150 more than this. But the neck is comfortable. The action came fairly low. Like it could probably be lower for someone who wants that. For me, this is low action. I would raise the action just a little bit and feel good about doing it, trying to work out a little bit of that buzz that I'm getting. And if I can't get rid of enough of the buzz, then I'm going to be buying a replacement set of strings that get heavier than this. I don't know which gauge. I'd probably figure out whatever gauge of strings is currently on my Fender Bass 6 back there. But that Bass 6 was not $200, I'll say that. My personal preference is steering me away from humbuckers on a Bass 6, but that's just my personal preference. You might love that sound. That might be the thing you've been waiting for. Humbuckers on a Bass 6, finally! The thing you've been begging the universe for. But yeah, I'm not seeing any QC issues. I'm not seeing any flubs in the finishing. We've got a gloss fretboard, which is really interesting, kind of doing like a Rickenbacker sort of thing with that styling. I think it's attractive. The body shape is a little bit unique, a little bit of a unique take on a Bass 6 offset sort of design. Definitely aiming more for the high performance metal crowd with that stark black on white with the humbuckers and of course the reverse headstock. The nut could be cut a little bit deeper. I did feel it pulling a little bit out of tune in the cowboy chord area, but it's a Bass 6, you know? A little bit of natural chorusing on your chords isn't going to hurt you too much. I mean, you tell me, how did it sound in post? What did the recording sound like? You know? The logo on the headstock is interesting. It reminds me of the red tag on a pair of Levi's. I think I'm fine with it. I mean, you can't really make too many complaints about the aesthetics of a guitar when it's $200. But I think it's attractive. You might disagree. I think there's something fun going on here. I didn't hear any like microphonic issues with the pickups. No, that's normal. If you're standing close to a very loud amp, yeah, it's gonna feed back. But in a normal way, yeah, these pickups are not microphonic in any way worth mentioning. I started to hear a little bit of a squeal, but it's loud enough and the gain was high enough that it should and could have been a lot more. So yeah, it passes that test in my book. What do you guys think? Are you interested in this thing? Are you gonna click the link down below to go check it out to see what the finishes look like? Like I said, this one was like $217 and the Sunburst, it was under $200. I don't remember the exact price, but I'll flash it up on the screen. Maybe I should try to lay down a little bit of a loop jam. I'll do that. I'll lay down a little bit of a loop and then I'll say my thank yous and farewells. was fun. I like that. Maybe I'll remember that and play it again someday. So anyways, huge thanks to Gear for Music for taking a chance and sending me one of their guitars to check out. What did you guys think? What do you think of this thing? It's not a baritone, but it is a bass 6, and it is like $200. How often do you find that out in the world? Especially a $200 bass 6 with humbuckers in it. Kind of fun, kind of different, right? Are you into it? So anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me rude, nasty comments. For first time Patreon. I'll try again. I'll do this one clean. So anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me rude and nasty comments. Support us on Patreon. Buy a shirt if you're naked and stay grounded. Bye, everybody.